here's my question, Brian. This is like a 4-line proof. The only way out of this conundrum, assume that it's 3% odds. Assume that you're playing roulette in either a European wheel or an American wheel. I guess the American wheel has 2 green.
Yeah, 0, 0, and 0.
And the Europeans have 1. And otherwise, there's something like 36 red and black things. Okay, assume that that's the case. How many times do you get to spin this thing before it comes up green? No one knows, and not that many. Yes, it's unlikely, but you can't keep playing this game. All right, that's the first thing. Next question is, if that's true, give me the total list of escape scenarios. Like, one thing that you may not know, that I only know because I've recently found myself in circles of people who have 10 figures and up, is that a lot of very rich people are thinking about personal escapes from Armageddon. They're not thinking about
bunkers or
bunkers, different countries, New Zealand, yachts, whatever. Okay, this is ridiculous. I mean, for only in limited situations is that a great plan. There's only one thing to do, which is to ask, how do we get ourselves diversification so that, as you point out, these conserved features of collapsing civilizations don't take down the permanent human enterprise? And that's why, I'm going to a Bitcoin conference in Miami. And I think that the talk is supposed to be, they usually say, fix the money, fix the world. And I think I have it changed to fix the money, leave the world. The importance of decentralization in spacefaring. If Bitcoin is a protocol, how does it work if you're multiplanetary, if you're in different star systems?
Or you're Kardashev 3, and you have infinite free energy, right?
Yeah. Or do you have a different situation whereby the point of Bitcoin is to start working on a decentralized option, like from decentralization to decentralization? The key point of failure is that we're all sharing one terrestrial surface. Now, Bezos, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, talks about like Gerald K. O'Neill cylinders and maybe Stanford tori, where you get artificial gravity through centripetal acceleration. Elon is focused on the moon. Not quite sure what Branson is doing. But the point is, all of these people at least have the nub of the idea we've got to diversify. And with all that money, I don't ever want to hear about a theoretical physicist who isn't putting 3 kids through private schools with a second home, a pension secured, and the ability to check into any 4 seasons anywhere on the planet Earth. I mean, this is obscene. The only people who can save us are mathematicians and physicists. And we don't know that it's possible. It's quite possible that they could return a final theory, and we could look at it and say, yep, Einstein was right. The final theory doesn't contain any new options that the one did.
For faster than light travel.
We don't know. We don't know. And until we know, and until we hold the conferences, we're instead held hostage to an economic system that is mostly there to protect people born in like the 1940s and 50s so that they can live out their days pretending that they're doing physics while they do geometric analysis inspired by physics, which they might call string theory or topological quantum field theory or toy models or conformal field theory. It's like, no, it's now time to get back to physics. It's now time to do what Old Stone Pocono and Shelter Island did as conferences, which is to reignite the physics community, get the smart people in here. And here's the dumbest thing, and I'm just embarrassed to say it, but here goes. Physics built your entire economy, more or less, suitably understood, from biotech to communications to the World Wide Web to the semiconductor. The dumbest thing in the world is money or tokens. Go get us a huge pile, drop it off, and go away.